What is up, guys? It's your boy, Rick. Fellow Titans, let's get this W. Cacus here, and today we are going to be taking a much closer look at the brand new The Title SMG added to Destiny 2 with the start of the new Guardian Games 2022 event, going over the best roles to be looking for both PvP and PvE so you guys know what to farm for. And so, let's get started. So, in order to get your first SMG drop, you need to go to Eva Levante in the tower and accept that main Guardian Games quest, Best in Class. You're going to have to go and complete a card, so you can select either Vanguard, which makes you go do some strikes, Gambit, you gotta play Gambit, etc. Then once you earn some medals, deposit some medals, and do some random stuff, eventually you will outright get the title. Now, importantly, the first one you get has the same role for everyone, which is going to be, firstly, Grave Robber, Melee Final Blows Reload, this weapon from reserves, and Vorpal Weapon. I don't know why Bungie's always got to make the first role so bad, but there we go. The really interesting part about this SMG, however, is the origin trait. With the title, we have one we have never seen before and is only available right now on this weapon, and that is Classy Contender. Final blows with this weapon grant class ability energy. Obviously, getting more invisibility dodges for the Hunter, more barricades, especially Bastion barricades for the Titan, more rifts for the Warlock, all of those are fantastic. And as you can see here, getting kills with this weapon provides a small but noticeable bump to my class ability energy. Now, if you don't want to use that origin trait because this is a Haka weapon, you can also use Haka Breach Armaments, where this weapon deals increased damage against vehicles, turrets, barricades, and stasis crystals. Now, after you earn your first one, you're able to farm more by simply doing Guardian Games stuff. They can come out of the higher tier packages that you get for depositing a ton of medals, and I think they can also drop from simply depositing gold or platinum medals. As you can see, you can get legendary rewards for doing so. So simply go back to Eva Levante, be constantly grabbing those different cards, especially like platinum cards and so on. If you can do Nightfalls, Lost Sectors, raids, dungeons, and so on, get a bunch of medals, be depositing them, and you will get additional versions of the title. But if you do, what roles are you looking for? Well, because this weapon is an aggressive frame 750 rounds per minute archetype, it is going to be lacking in the stability department. So when looking at these barrels, if you're on console, you may want to avoid something like full bore that's going to lower your stability. If you're on PC, you could be able to handle something like hammer-forged rifling, which just isn't going to mess with your stability. And frankly, some of you may go after something like small bore, arrowhead break with the recoil, something that's actually going to improve that stability or recoil. Then moving on from there, we have your extended mag perks that are definitely going to be what you want in PvE because the magazine size is so low. And then we've got stuff like armor piercing rounds, high caliber rounds, and frankly, ricochet rounds is really going to be fantastic in PvP, again giving that range and stability increase which this weapon needs. Then moving on from there, in the first main perk slot, we start things out with Grave Robber, okay at best, Steady Hands, not the biggest fan, but okay in PvP. Hipfire Grip, I'm gonna say no. Dynamic Sway Reduction, again, can really help with the accuracy of this weapon, especially if you do want to go, full bore, or hammer-forged rifling, something like high caliber rounds, really go into range, and then use dynamic sway reduction to offset that bad stability and still be able to land your shots at a distance. That could be pretty good. Perpetual Motion has proven itself to be a fantastic PvP and not a bad PvE perk as well. Then we've got Stats for All, great in PvE, and lastly, Threat Detector, pretty good on SMGs actually. Now in that second main category, we start things off with Focused Fury. Big damage increase, but you might not be landing nothing but precisions with this SMG. Turnabout to gain overshields from ripping apart an enemy shield, moving target. One for All, which is going to provide a huge damage increase for hitting 3 enemies. Vorpal Weapon for extra damage against vehicles, bosses, guardians, and their super. Surrounded, not terrible with SMGs, a damage boost for being amongst and nearby enemies. And lastly, Swashbuckler for damage boost after a kill and right up to the max with a melee. So when we're talking about a PvP god roll, again, the aggressive frames really haven't been that bad in PvP, but you really want to account for that low stability and moderately high recoil. So if you do go for something like Hammer Forged, again, full bore, extended even, something that's going to increase the range, pairing that with ricochet rounds to make up for that stability, and again, something like dynamic is going to be a great idea. If you do the opposite, go for something like Arrowhead Break for the recoil, small bore that's not going to hurt the stability, you could get away with using, high caliber rounds, armor piercing. You probably still want ricochet rounds, and then maybe use perpetual motion instead of dynamic sway reduction. Then in that second slot, you could go for, moving target if you're going to be strafing all the time. But honestly, just going for Swashbuckler to get that damage increase, or even perhaps Vorpal Weapon to let you shred down an enemy super wouldn't be the worst thing out there. But really where I'm excited for this is PvE. It's Void, Classy Contender is fantastic and is going to be activating so much more in PvE. So I think there you want to be looking for, frankly, anything but full bore. Again, you don't want to hurt your stability too much. You really want appended or extended mag to increase that magazine size, I believe, or flared magwell to increase the reload speed to make up for that low magazine size. And then I think you're really pairing that with Stats for All. Very easy to land hits with a fully automatic weapon here. An alternative is definitely going to be Threat Detector, which, as we know from the Title SMG, is active, pretty often and provides a pretty reasonable benefit. And then I think you're combining that with One for All. I mean, the Stats for All, One for All wombo combo is very darn effective. Both perks just want you to spray down 3 enemies and then give you a significant amount of bonuses for a significant amount of time. That's really going to let you slay out with this weapon. But again, some alternatives include stuff like Surrounded and Swashbuckler, and I think you could easily go Threat Detector plus Surrounded for the Ikilos roll, Threat Detector plus Swashbuckler, or even, if you want to go for the wombo, Grave Robber. Although it's, I don't think, that amazing of a perk, it does pair very well with Swashbuckler, being able to get a melee kill, completely reload your magazine, and get a ×5 damage boost. Yeah, that's going to be pretty darn effective. Overall, again, I think this is going to be a pretty darn good weapon. I'm going to get that Stats for All, One for All combo and start running it in some of my Void builds, especially stuff like Hunter, where I want that class ability more than anything else. And so guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.